What's up, Whisper Nation? Johnny Game Time Hicks here, Big Travis, and we are with Stepmom Lauren today on the Fantasy Whispers. We are talking the NFC East, or as some refer to them, the least. I don't know. We'll talk about it in today's show right here on the Fantasy Whispers.
Yes, we're back again.
Hey, let's pump up the volume.
Right here.
What's up, Whisper Nation? You're listening to the Fantasy Whispers with your hosts, Johnny Game Time Hicks and Big Travy, and I'm Chelsea. If you want to follow the show, you can do so on Twitter at TF Whispers. You can also find us on YouTube and Instagram at The Fantasy Whispers. And you should definitely visit the website, thefantasywhispers.com. We have articles, latest episodes, rankings, and most importantly, our fully loaded draft kit for the 2019 season. And you can check out our Patreon account where you should subscribe. So head on over and check it out.
That's right, Chelsea. Thank you so much. We have launched our draft kit. It's on the website, thefantasywhispers.com. But that's only the second most exciting news about today's episode. The number one most exciting thing about today's episode, we've got Stepmom Lauren back at Whisper headquarters.
I saw that you got a new logo there.
Yeah,
You got a comic character.
Well, it's for the Scott Fishbowl. So there is a guy who actually creates these avatars based on your division, which, funny enough, Scott Fish let me name my division.
Oh.
So, yeah, so I named it Tifa after Final Fantasy VII, which is my favorite Final Fantasy game ever. And Tifa was my favorite because she always beat the crap out of people with, like, bare knuckles. It was awesome. Or brass knuckles, whatever was your weapon of choice. So when you originally get invited and you say, like, what your favorite character is, and he puts you in divisions based on that character, no one said Tifa, of course, because who the hell knows who that is? So they had a couple people that didn't respond with one. So we put them all into one category and let me name it Tifa. So there's one guy that will actually create a whole avatar for you. You donate $5 to Fantasy Cares, take a screenshot, send it out to him. And then he creates it for you, and then you put it up there. Lots of people have it.
That's awesome.
But funny enough, the guy who does it is actually the dude. I just was on a podcast with Peter Howard from Dynasty Crossroads, and it's his partner who I filled in for is the one that creates the avatar. I did not.
All right, so we got a great show today, Travis and Stepmom Lauren. This is going to be fun. We'll have some good banter here, talking the major storylines, right, Travis?
Yeah, so these episodes, as we've told you before, Whisper Nation, are a little bit meatier, right? Because what we want to do here is peg each team down to their number one fantasy football storyline going into training camp, which are launched, last week, and will continue to ramp up for all teams heading into the end of July here. And there are some important things that we're going to hit on in each division, and there's probably more, but we wanted to give you guys our own, number one take on these things. Let's jump into the East, guys. Guy and gal, and let's talk the New York Jets here, guys. We don't have to spend too much time here. My big concern for this offense on the whole is, can Guice run enough plays to make anyone worth it in this offense? Because he's consistently ran the lowest plays in the league or close to it in the last few years that he's been a head coach, and I just don't see a lot here to be excited about. Second-year quarterback, offensive line ranked, projects to be one of the worst in the league next year. I know Le'Veon Bell's there. I know that Stepmom Lauren hates him. And I know that it's going to be tough for you to trust Le'Veon Bell this year. And you've shown me the light a little bit on this, Stepmom Lauren, because I was for sure in the camp of drafting Le'Veon Bell in the first round when we got news of this move. I can't really back that anymore just because of, the lack of plays that Guice likes to run here.
Yeah, and I think it's a combination of that, which I didn't look at before. So that is a very interesting fact you bring up, Travis. I appreciate that. I like learning new things. That's why I like Jeopardy so much. It's like my favorite show ever. I like learning new things.
Jeopardy is really that's a show.
It's legit. It's legit.
So it seems when you're younger, you're like, I don't ever want to watch. I don't want to watch Jeopardy. But as
Jeopardy.
You get a little bit older, you're like, wow, this show is really, really cool. And it's also a confidence boost. It's a very confidence boost when you can get the answers before the people on the show. I always feel like
it gets bad at our house. It gets really bad at our house because my neighbor is really good at Jeopardy. So we literally have a Jeopardy off whenever we're all hanging out together. We keep score. You have to say it
You should
before
film
Alex
that.
Trebek even gets done. Oh, we should.
Yeah.
But we curse a lot and it's not pretty. We may try to beat each other up as well. But we literally I think the best I've gotten is maybe 18 correct. But you have to say it before the other person said it. It's insane. It gets nuts. Anyway,
correct.
that was a total digress. I apologize.
I
But
won't tell you the most that
learning new
I've ever
things is-
gotten correct.
Probably 18 lifetime.
Yeah.
No. Don't be silly.
Although the one I got
get into the
100%
rhythm of
the
it.
questions on that football one that was circling around on Twitter.
Yeah.
I was like, I would've killed this
Did you run the
section.
category?
Yeah.
I know. I love that because I love mythology. So I get the mythology ones, the women authors, all those. I don't get anything with history. I'm terrible at that, but usually I'm pretty good. It's science, all that. I'm decent. Why did this turn into me talking about frickin' Jeopardy? Okay, sorry guys.
You had to bring it up.
Who are we
once.
talking about? Yes, Adam
Just
Gase.
let you do what you want here.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thanks.
that's
You
why-
know,
yeah, I mean,
that's why I like you guys. You let me do what I want.
yeah.
So, okay, so the thing I like about Adam Gase is he's really good with his positional players, unless your name is Kenyon Drake or Jay Ajayi. And I'm afraid that's going to turn into the third name, which is Le'Veon Bell. However, he is Le'Veon Bell. So it's hard to put a cap on that guy simply because of his nature and how good he is. I just worry because Adam Gase didn't even want him on the team in the first place. It seems like he has some kind of personal vendetta and he doesn't really care if you're good or not. He's not going to play you if he doesn't want to prove a point. I have no evidence to back that up. That's just what my eyeballs have seen over the last 2 years. But on the flip side of what I'm talking about, not running back related, I really like Chris Herndon as the tight end. And he's not even getting drafted anymore because he has that 4-game suspension. But he literally is the wide receiver 2 of the Jets. In fact, he had the second leading receptions behind Robbie Anderson at 50, and he had 39. Quincy Enunwa was right underneath him at 38. And because this tight end landscape is, still crappy, you can get him off the waiver, or if you have a deeper bench, you can pick him up super duper late. To obviously just make sure you have another tight end that you can play. But he's really sneaky, and Adam Gase has come out and said a lot of really good things about Chris Herndon and his chemistry with Sam Darnold. That leads me to believe that when Sam Darnold isn't throwing massive bombs downfield to Robbie Anderson, they're going to have to utilize that middle of the field. And those two players are going to be Chris Herndon and Quincy Enunwa. And I have both of those guys on my Scott Fishbowl team, and I'm going to have to figure out who the heck I'm going to start. But that's my problem, not yours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Herndon's a very interesting guy. I really wish, there wasn't the suspension there. He
Yeah,
was a
that does
guy
suck. It does
I really
suck.
liked him last year.
Yeah.
But when you get down to this realm of tight ends, you might end up streaming anyways. As you get
Right.
past the top 4 or 5 guys, you're probably going to be in a situation where it's it really won't matter at that point. There's guys I think that we all like to try and break into that tier. I'm a big fan of Vance McDonald. I think his upside this year to get into a tier of a consistent weekly tight end is a good idea, but might as well shoot your shot on Chris Herndon. If after the first 4 weeks or after the first 3 weeks, you notice your tight end position is not producing, swoop up Herndon for his comeback, because he could be a guy that they rely on heavily in this offense, as Stepmom Lauren said.
And
The other guy-
I have Vance McDonald as well. I have those two tight ends as my tight ends.
I'm just
on the
loving
league.
Vance so much.
Me
this
too,
year.
me
I
too.
think there's just so much opportunity there.
Oh, I love taking him in all drafts.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy I'm looking at in a lot of drafts. He'll be on a lot of my teams this year. Johnny, did you want to add anything here with Robbie Anderson, or are we good to move on to the?
Let's. I do like Robbie Anderson, but it's the Jets. Let's just move past him.
Let's quit torturing the Whisper Nation.
We
here.
probably have already lost
Sorry,
half
Jets
of our
fans.
listeners because we went.
Oh,
through
you
this
better not be
division.
leaving.
I know.
I will
Stepmom Lauren
find
is
you.
coming
I don't know
after
how,
you,
but
yeah.
I will.
She's got a very
We should be able
particular
to
set
pick
of
up-
skills.
We should be able to pick up some though, right on this on the NFC East because of the Dallas Cowboys. We got some loyal, and the Eagles. We got some loyal fans in this next.
There's
section
some
here.
interesting teams here. There's 2, and then there's 2 just dog crap teams. But we'll talk about Dallas Cowboys first. They're definitely a team that's exciting for a couple reasons. Obviously, Zeke and Amari and Dak make it an exciting offense, but this offense was top 10 in plays ran last year, and now they've gone to Kellen Moore, who used to be the backup quarterback to Dak Prescott and is now calling plays here, has said how he wants to be innovative and multiple and really bring this offense to another level, which we've never seen under Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett's playbook is literally run Zeke up the middle, rushing touchdown with Dak Prescott. I mean, that is literally his playbook. So it's really exciting to see the Cowboys kind of open this up and expand a little bit and get a little bit of the bug here that all these other teams have done as far as hiring youth into the offensive, the coaching staff. So for me, I want to see what he can get this offense to. Like, Zeke has continuously improved his passing game prowess every year that he's been in the league. So he obviously did that with Amari Cooper last year. Like, his catches per game went up with Amari Cooper. So if that's possible here, where the defense has to be kept honest with Amari Cooper on the field and can't focus everything on Zeke, I really like that. I think the addition of Randall Cobb, I think Michael Gallup taking a step forward. You know, we talk about Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper both being in contract years. We know these stats actually work out for guys in contract year where they tend to ball out a little more. I'm really excited about Dallas's offense. It's just going to be about which ancillary pieces, because, you know, I don't want to trust Amari Cooper, but here's the bottom line. As the number one in Dallas has consistently gotten volume over the years. And so if he becomes the number one option for Dak, I think that you're going to be hard pressed to not draft him. I know Johnny will definitely disagree with me on that point, but
I don't disagree that he will produce. He will 100% produce. The question more so comes into the consistency, and he's the most inconsistent wide receiver we've ever seen. And like, I'm not exaggerating on that. Like, the dude's either a number one wide receiver overall the week, or he's wide receiver 63.
We're talking Amari Cooper here, right?
yeah.
Okay, so Amari pooped his big boy pants.
Yes.
Okay, just so I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
And so that's more so. Do I think Amari Cooper? I like Amari Cooper. I really do. Like, I think he's a really good wide receiver. I just think that he tends to disappear more often than not.
I agree. What he said.
So Lauren, your biggest storyline coming into this is actually Dak Prescott, the guy throwing the ball to Amari Cooper here. And you just really like him as a sneaky late round pick here?
I do. I mean, he's going, I guess it doesn't matter what kind of half full or standard you're doing because he's a quarterback, but he's going towards the end of the 11th round, which is pretty late. And I like that a lot, considering he's never finished past a QB 10 since he's been in the league. 2016 was QB 6, then he was QB 10, and then last year he was QB 10 as well. And I think the addition of Amari Cooper last year just goes to show you that the whole offense improved, including Dak Prescott, including Ezekiel Elliott. And since week 7, when Cooper, went to the Cowboys in the first place, he only had meaning Dak Prescott, only had one game under 200 passing yards. When before that, it was kind of all over the map. And then, by the way, that was week 15 with, I think, like 160 yards, in case everyone wanted to know. Also, his pass completion went up, and it wasn't just hovering around that 62%, which it was in the first 4 weeks, I believe, first however many long. I don't do math, so sorry about you. But after week 7, they had all these spikes of these pass completions because he felt more comfortable throwing the ball. So we had a game that was 70%, 72%, 85%, 77%, 80%. So you saw these big spikes of what he was able to do. And I just think that's going to get better and better as Amari Cooper has more time in this offense. I still don't trust Amari Cooper to draft him. I'm in the same boat as Johnny. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me thrice, you're dead to me. I've used that before, but I'm going to say it again. I don't like it. I'm not going to draft him, but I do like Dak Prescott.
You guys,
I don't want the headache. I don't want the headache to deal with Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
I don't want.
Make the
Same thing with Leonard
for
Fournette.
Kenyon Drake, and then you totally are over here talking about Amari Cooper.
Because his environment is completely different, Mr. Travis.
You are trying to compare Kenyon Drake and his production.
I just threw up a little bit in my mouth again. I'm doing that enough looking at the Bills and Redskins.
I just couldn't talk enough about the Dolphins. I had to bring us back to the Dolphins.
You were the one who brought up Drake this time, not Johnny. So you can't blame him for that one.
Yeah.
That's on you, bro.
Real. You see what I go through?
I'm just reading the show notes here, all right? Doing my job here, all right?
Yeah, underneath there, I actually put refer back to Kenyon Drake. No, I didn't. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I think this offense, and Dak is a very, very one of the favorites for me in a late round quarterback guy in standard leagues, whatever, one quarterback leagues. I really like Dak. You said it. Never been outside the top 10. This is a guy who maybe arguably could have his best offense he's ever had, given the weapons around him, given where Zeke's at in his career. his in his prime. And then you have a situation where he's in a contract year and he knows he has to show out. He's always been a winner. He's always been a guy. If Kellen Moore can really, and this is a guy who played with Dak, so he knows Dak Prescott. If he can bring Dak Prescott to another level, I mean, watch out. You're looking at a guy you can get in the 11th. They could end up a top 5 QB, I think, just based on the weapons that are out there. And if they run more plays this year, because they were in top 10 in plays ran, more opportunity. That we love opportunity in fantasy football. That just means more points. So
more opportunity. Kellen Moore.
Yeah,
I love Kellen Moore. His time in Boise State was so much fun, and it was heartbreaking. I believe this was Kellen Moore that it happened to. I don't remember what the championship was that they were playing for. It was his senior year, and they almost won if they would have kicked that field goal and made it, and they didn't. And my heart broke for him because he was so much fun to watch in that offense. He is just amazing. Like you said, he brings kind of like that Boise State, almost Oregon-ish, weird, creative, fun offense that I think is desperately
shades
needed.
Of the air raid, shades of
lots of fun stuff.
Window dressing,
and kind of Chip Kelly-ish too, which works really well in college. Not so much in the NFL, but it's not Chip Kelly, it's Kellen Moore.
To be fair, though, Chip Kelly, on that point, I hear this a lot.
He has very small hands.
And our president, huh? No.
It's like that Austin Powers line, small hands, smells like cabbage.
No, but I mean, Chip Kelly actually gets a lot of, bad publicity because, they say that his offense didn't work. His offense took the league by storm in the NFL. Like,
it was
Chip
great
Kelly
for fantasy.
Dominated the NFL. The problem was he tried to be a GM and he traded away all their good players, and they didn't have anything else after that. So I think that this is how this league works. Something new comes in, it shocks the league, they catch up to it. But if it's a good system and good players, it'll end up being pretty good. Not a good system and not really good players is the Washington Redskins.
Hang on, I'm going to go make a cocktail. You guys talk about this boring ass game.
Yeah, right.
I'll be back.
I don't have my biggest storyline here to watch for training camp is, will I roster any Washington Redskins player at all?
No.
I'm finding it hard to find anybody that I'll put on my roster. Keenum and Haskins, they got no pass catcher that is enticing for me because of Keenum and Haskins. Darius Guice, who is a guy I want to love so much, I want to be behind him, has had that knee slow recovery, infections in that knee. Something's going on with
something is going on there in
Redskins
Washington
doctors.
because Alex Smith had the same issue after his gigantic
and didn't they have that
separated
4
leg
years ago? Wasn't there the gangrene was in their locker room, wasn't it?
Good Lord.
I don't know, but that sounds gnarly, dude.
No,
That sounds disgusting.
I'm gonna look it up right now because I'm pretty sure.
Good Lord.
that happened.
God, disinfect
Well,
that.
and it
I'd use some
It was with the
Clorox.
kicker.
I mean,
it was with the kicker.
RG3. Think about RG3 in his heyday, the way the doctors managed RG3 and threw him back on the field.
Did someone put a hex on the locker room there or something? We need to go get a priest and bless the place.
When you name your team the Redskins, you know what I mean?
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. See where you're going with that. Like a little curse. Or a big curse. Yeah.
Tribal burial ground.
Oh, God. No, I feel bad. I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to take over while you're searching gangrene over there, Johnny. But I think there is a couple names here that are worth sort of looking at. I don't even know if I want to say that, but Jordan Reed is still another one that's on there. Can he stay healthy? I don't really know. Again, Darius Guice, he's going in the end of the 6th round in half PPR. I'd rather have Rashad Penny, who's right there. That's way more exciting to me than Darius Guice because there's I don't know. It's just there's nothing there for me to get excited about except if I make a bet about how many times each quarterback is going to be in at least one game. That would be fun to do.
Yeah.
But that's about it. That's all I got.
Listen,
I have one of my good friends loves the Redskins, and he'll probably be mad at me for this, but it's all right.
I mean, he's got to be a realist here at this point. I don't.
He is.
What's the situation where you're like,
he's looking for others to make him feel better? We can't do.
I mean, I think Dwayne Haskins, getting him in the draft the way he fell to them, I think that was fantastic for them. I think they're a couple years away, though.
Yes, agreed. It's just not going to be this year.
Yeah,
So-
and like Reed, I would love to go in and swoop up Reed. He's been a guy that's physically gifted. We know that he's had upside to be a top tier tight end before. I just don't know if I can trust Keenum or Haskins or the combo of those two to get me enough volume.
What
But,
about Colt McCoy, man?
But here's the thing.
Don't forget about Colt McCoy.
With,
That's true.
With Jordan Reed, I actually am interested in Jordan Reed. If there's any guy who I'm going to roster for the Washington Redskins, it's going to be Jordan Reed. His ADP right
That's
now
the
is
only guy.
1410, right? So
Yes.
virtually free. And from 2016 to 2018, Jordan Reed has averaged 6.7 targets per game. I know he's made of glass. I know that's a concern, but he's free now. Before you were actually
Didn't he
having
play
to...
all 16 games last year?
Not only did he play, but he was like instructing yoga on the sidelines.
Yeah, right.
last
No,
year.
he did.
I have a
get
new
in-
respect for
was-
this man.
He did get injured for a game or two. It wasn't. He wasn't out there fully, but you talked about how Case Keenum wasn't like sparking your interest there. It doesn't float your boat. But if you look back in 2017 when Case Keenum was the confident starter in Minnesota. We saw that what he did for Kyle Rudolph. Kyle Rudolph was the tight end 7. He had 76 targets, 532 receiving yards, and 8 touchdowns. Who else is in the Redskins offense that is a touchdown threat? Josh Doxson? Maybe the dude can't catch. So who else besides Jordan Reed? He's a big-bodied white.
There's no one. Yeah.
There's no one. So I actually
The argument for Reed is. Yeah, no, I think the argument for Reed you're making is great. Like he's got the ADP, but I don't like the fact that you want to point to Case Keenum's career year as the reason why you should draft Jordan Reed.
Keenum is like a perennial backup.
Like I can't trust Case Keenum, but for 14th round ADP, you might as well get Jordan Reed because the upside there is untapped for a guy of his talent. And if somebody does lock on to him, like we could see a career year for Jordan Reed. So,
and you're also looking at Dwayne Haskins if he becomes the starter. Generally, rookie quarterbacks love their big body tight ends. It's like a little safety blanket, and so that's why he's the only one that I would look at. For that late, yes, I would think I would go for it. But I do have other tight ends that I have in mind I would like to take over them. But if I miss out on those guys, why not? Why not give it a shot? He's the only person on this team that can be fantasy productive.
And you see what is in Big Travy's background. All right, we understand the reason why he hates Case Keenum so much is because he was the Rams' starting quarterback, and Travis still hates him to this day. So that's the recency bias.
Don't bring up hatred and the Rams around me.
There we go. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. All right, we should move on to the Philadelphia Eagles.
I want to move on to one of the most exciting teams for me in general for the NFL this year, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Word.
They are stacked from top to bottom. They are just a smorgasbord for fantasy football purposes. And I'll tell you right now what it all means to me. I mean, we talk about these weapons, Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert. We have Miles Sanders. We've got Alshon Jeffrey, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Deshaun Jackson comes back to Philadelphia. What does this all mean for me? That Carson Wentz is going in the 7th round as one of the guys you could target to be a top 3, top 1 QB this year. Because if the guy's healthy, all those weapons mean he's got to be able to be a guy that's going to produce, close to those numbers that he was putting up in that MVP run. And so Wentz is one of my favorite quarterbacks to draft right now, especially in that 7th round. He's just got great value as a guy that could really be a league winner for you. And that's for me, like, if you're going to take a guy later, if you're not going to take him Mahomes, which we advise against taking quarterback early, right? If you're not going to take any of these guys early, you wait till 7th, 8th, 9th round. You've got to be, in my opinion, you swing for the fences on those QBs because you can always stream the position. So if you can stream the position, swing for the fences, get a guy that can touch the top tier. And for me, that's Carson Wentz here. And I know you guys have a couple points as far as storylines go. So Johnny, let us know what your number one storyline is here coming out of Philadelphia.
To me, it has to do, affecting the tight end position. I'm always trying to scout out the tight end position because that's where you can get true value. That's where you can separate your team versus everybody else's, right? Because everyone, if you want to be in that top tier at the tight end position, you're either having to really pay up for that, and I don't like to do that, so I try to scout these positions out early and get the next big guy. I have a pretty good record with that, of picking those kind of guys out. So with me, Dallas Goedert is someone I want to watch, right? One, because I want to see what effect he has on Zach Ertz. Is he getting, more? Is he biting more into that market share of Zach Ertz? Should I be cooling on Zach Ertz? Travis, I had a very awesome conversation on the show on a couple episodes ago about Zach Ertz, and since that show, I've actually started to be like, oh, I think that Travis might be onto something here, but. Listen, do I think Goddard – this is my honest opinion before training camp. Do I think Goddard takes a big enough step this year in order to really, affect Zach Ertz? I don't believe so. But I do think that Goddard is someone that is going to become a really nice tight end in the next couple of years. And so, I want to see, is the hype coming out about Dallas Goedert? Is that for real, or is it just talk? How much are they using him? Are they going to 2 tight end sets often? Who stays into block? Who is, we know Zach Ertz is going to be doing more route running. He can block as well, but I just want to see what the usage of Goddard is, and if I should truly be scared for Zach Ertz this year, or is Ertz going to hold him off for one more year and then we might see the big jump next year?
Yeah, for me, before I pass this over to Stepmom Lauren here, I just want to touch on Dallas Goedert because we might see a situation where both these guys end up as tight end ones. And I think if that happens, that means that Ertz will not be draftable, in my opinion, because Ertz will basically fall out of that top tier and get into some of the middle ground of the tight end position. He's going to be fine. I just think that he's too expensive right now with the presence of not only Dallas Goedert, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside in the red zone, Alshon Jeffrey, who's a touchdown threat. And if they get the running back position dialed down, I mean, Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders are taking red zone opportunities away as well. But I think I'm really excited about Stepmom Lauren's number one storyline coming in here because it really, I can't wait to dive into this a little bit. So, Stepmom Lauren, you're really pumped on Deshaun Jackson and his homecoming.
I am so excited. So excited. And Deshaun Jackson basically fell off of everyone's fantasy radar when he went to Redskins and he was in Tampa Bay and he had all of this competition. Not to mention he's getting a little bit older. But with him, it's like a fine wine, He's only gotten better. So I actually have him in one of my articles. It's 3 wide receivers to remember going into 2019. And I just absolutely love that he's back home with the Eagles, especially with Carson Wentz. I love that. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I'm so excited. So are all of my friends that live, around here with me. They're all huge Eagles fans and they cannot stop talking about it. So it's like super infectious. But I mean, obviously, we know that he is that deep field, downfield threat. He's incredibly fast, but he's also still so talented. So over the 11 years that he's been in the NFL with 3 different teams, he has 67.1 yards per game. He has a 55% catch rate. And Matt Harmon's reception perception has him at a 77.1 success rate on curls, meaning creating separation on curls, as well as 78 on come. So he can do a whole bunch of stuff on this field. But his addition, yes, I would draft him. I believe as this article came out, he was in the middle to the end in half PPR of the 11th round. Awesome value for him. You can stream him against certain positions. He may end up being maybe a bust depending on who the Eagles are playing. Also, just be aware of what the defense looks like. But what this does to Philadelphia as a whole for the offense, it creates more options for Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. It creates more options for Alshon Jeffrey. It just, everything gets better. It's just so exciting to see, and I cannot wait to see how this I was said defense hope they do well too. But I can't wait to see what kind of fantasy mayhem is going to happen with the Philadelphia Eagles this year. And I think really the catalyst for that is going to be Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, I think you hit it on so many levels there. But I think the big thing is we can look back historically at Deshaun Jackson with quarterbacks, Donovan McNabb.
Yes, good point.
Not Robert Griffin, but Kirk Cousins. We can look at him with Fitzpatrick and with, we have seen him improve his quarterback play because, yes, he's a deep ball threat, but he's not just like your ordinary deep ball threat. We could be talking about maybe the best deep ball threat ever at the wide receiver position.
Agreed.
And so like Deshaun Jackson is prolific and what he does for his quarterbacks is prolific. And this offense is one of my best to bet on as a bounce back top tier offense for 2019. But one of my favorite to bet on in the other direction is the New York Giants. I am not excited about this offense at all. And honestly, it's made me affect my rankings on Saquon, who I love so much. But like Saquon, yes, he's still in that top tier. Yes, you're still going to draft him. But for me, Saquon slides down to the bottom of that top tier. There's just too much bust capability with that offense for me to kind of love Saquon above some of the other guys. But my biggest storyline here is, can we trust any of these pass catchers on the offense? They've added a couple of these, similar style guys as far as Golden Tate comes in. They've got Sterling Sheppard there. Obviously, Evan Ingram should be fully healthy this year. Are they all going to pull from each other, or is Eli going to be able to lock in on one guy more than the other? And so that's kind of my biggest thing I want to watch in training camp, because Tate is a guy who perennially has come in and shouldn't be the guy, but ends up being the guy. Like, look at the Lions. Like, we didn't, necessarily think that he was going to be the guy. And then he continuously was year after year getting a lot of that market share for Detroit. So I just wonder if Tate's going to be a guy where we all love the idea of getting Sheppard late and like investing in Sheppard as the number one guy here. But then Tate's there to soak up the passes that Eli can actually make, which are the short dinks and dunks across the middle of the field.
So I don't mean to laugh. Sorry, Eli.
No,
I did mean to laugh. It's
So for me, that's mine. Stepmom Lauren, what's your biggest takeaway or biggest thing that you're going to be looking at here?
I just want to know who the quarterback is. Like, I really want to know if Gettleman is going to have the cojones to be like, we took Daniel Jones, we're going to have to play him. Like, this is going to be a comedy show.
According to him, he's playing him in 4 years. They're waiting 4 years before they're going to play.
Okay.
That
makes a lot of sense. I know. That's so dumb.
It literally makes zero sense. Like, dude, you realize who your quarterback was last year? And like, what?
The whole thing is an absolute hot mess. Like, I don't even know what to do here. Like, it would be nearly impossible for me to pass up Saquon Barkley. If I had like a 1 through 3 pick in my draft, I would, because I would take Zeke or I would take David Johnson well before I take Saquon Barkley. Am I saying it's a bad choice? No, not at all. I just am afraid of this offense. So that's a personal choice for me. There are better people that I want to take at that spot. I think that have a little bit more consistency. But again, kind of like a Le'Veon Bell situation. He is Saquon Barkley. He's Saquads. He's amazing. I totally get it. So I wouldn't fault anyone for that. But I just really want to see, not fantasy football related at all, I want to see what happens with Daniel Jones. And I want to be a little fly on the wall, someone listening to New York sports radio after they finally either don't put in Daniel Jones and Eli throws like 4 interceptions and can't like throw past 15 yards. Or if they do put in Daniel Jones, and let's see what happens. Everyone's just going to be so mad and kerfuffled, and I want to hear it, and I can't wait. Oh my God. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to in this offense. I want to stay away from Sterling Sheppard. I mean, if it was the right time, I might look at Golden Tate. I still don't even want to. I don't even like Evan Ingram that much because of that reason. There's just going to be too much double coverage on these big guys, and I just don't think you're going to have the passing proficiency to be able to make big plays. That worries me. I'm staying as far away from it, and I'm going to grab my popcorn, and I'm going to watch as people who draft Giants players and try to start them, and I'm going to laugh at their misery and feel sort of bad about it.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be rushing out to get Giants players. I can certainly tell you that, but
don't let the door hit you on the butt.
But at the same time, I think we're being a little too harsh on the Giants offense, right? Like last year, as bad as we thought it was, or as bad as we've envisioned it, it was still the 17th best offense on a yards per game average. Right there, right behind Philadelphia Eagles, which we love, and we think that they're going to make a monster move this year. They were 16th. You had Houston at 15th. So Denver was right below them. Seattle was below them. So we talk about all these, how terrible their offense was, but realistically, it wasn't awful. And
I think it's how bad it's going to be, not then necessarily that it was. That's my thing.
Right, but if they are going to be in their second year of a new offense, so there is going to now if Daniel Jones starts, this whole conversation is completely different to me. I actually do think that Eli Manning might be serviceable for one more year. He might play with a chip on his shoulder. Who knows? I don't really know.
Two
Eli
followers
Manning.
we did have listening are now gone.
Well, I'm just if you look, I think that there are definitely pieces here. I do have Saquon fading a little bit. I think, though, that Sterling Sheppard is a lot better wide receiver than he is given credit for.
I think he's great.
And I do, Eli Manning was able to get the ball to Odell Beckham. Shermer has a way of running his offense, and I think that he can do that. I think the draft stock value for Sterling Sheppard right now is in the 10th round, and why not? Why you are getting a wide receiver one for a middle of the road. I don't think they're going to be a great offense. Their offensive line has actually gotten better. They picked up guys for that offensive line. So for me, I don't mind taking the stab at Sterling Sheppard. I think that he could surprise a lot of people and be a wide receiver too this year. Does he have the upside? I think that that's where you draw the line. That's where you really start to talk about this offense is, do they have the upside to be, produce wide receiver ones? Do they have the ability to make Ingram a second overall tight end? Maybe not that high of a ceiling, but I think that they could be. You're
gonna have serviceable guys. You're gonna have.
I don't want serviceable.
Guys. For me, I think that
unless
upside
you're
is
like a concubine or something, but I know.
Here's a list of ADP right now going around. This is half point PBR. Okay, so we're going. Let me find.
I've got Golden Tate up here at the 10:03.
Last I thought they were going near each other, right? Tate and Sheppard were going kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, the fantasy football calculator, right?
Sterling Sheppard. Yeah. Would you rather have Sterling Sheppard or Marvin Jones?
Marvin Jones.
I'll take Marvin Jones.
I would take Sterling Sheppard over Marvin Jones.
Well, you're weird.
That's you're talking about a number 2 guy who's coming off of an injury on a offense that's going to run the ball more. I would take Sterling Sheppard.
Because the offense is going to tailor more to Jones's style, anyways, than it is going to tailor to Golladay. He's going to be the big play action guy. Like
Golladay is that guy.
No, dude. Look at when they're on the field together.
Where's my popcorn?
Yeah, no, I
like Stafford better as a quarterback than Eli. That's what I'm looking at. So
yeah,
I think Stafford has the chance to make him more relevant, and I think he has a higher upside. That's where I make that distinction.
Sterling Sheppard or Geronimo Allison?
Definitely Geronimo Allison.
I think about it, but I would stick with Geronimo.
Okay, I disagree with that as well. Sterling Sheppard or Larry Fitzgerald?
Larry Fitzgerald.
Poor Johnny.
These aren't hard.
I mean, you
either.
guys can have your opinion. I think you guys are.
Oh, we will.
Way off. You guys are way off because. I think that you guys are somehow thinking that the Giants are going to be the worst offense in football, and I don't think that that's going to be the case. Shermer has never had one of the worst offenses in football. He's always had a middle tier.
He's also never had a decrepit Eli Manning before. So,
well, another thing for me is not necessarily that they're going to have a terrible offense. I don't want to deal with the headache. I don't want to have to deal with the headache of being like, okay, well, is Sterling Sheppard going to get the targets? Is it just going to be a Saquon thing? Do I put in Evan Ingram when I have another tight end to start?
The same thing.
It's a headache I don't want to deal with.
That are the safety net for their offense. Golden Tate, Saquon Barkley, Evan Ingram. They're all the same guys. They live in the middle of the field.
Who's the difference in the outlier there? Sterling Sheppard. which is why Sterling Sheppard will be
You don't think that any of those guys are going to take away from him? You think that Eli's going to consistently push the ball down the field to Sterling Sheppard?
No,
We can't throw deep
I
either,
think that
so
I
there's
think
that.
I think Sterling Sheppard takes the OBJ role, and I think that the reason you
So
have
he gets
three
doubled
guys,
now.
You have 3 guys that do the same thing. You can't. You have to take your shots deep. You have to, and it's not like he's going to be running deep every
You have to
single
try
time.
to throw it deep.
Has OBJ been a good fantasy relevant wide receiver?
Yeah, of course.
Recently?
We're talking about OBJ
When he
who
plays.
they get over on slants and crosses and can take it to the house on any given time. Like we're talking about 2 different guys. Like
without
you're talking about 2
OBJ,
different
he
style
is
players.
without OBJ, he is averaging 8.6 targets, 5.3 receptions, 67.8 yards, 0.2 touchdowns, 22% market share, and that's an average of 10.5 fantasy points per half point PPR.
All right, so where do you think? Let's just make a bet here.
I will
wager
pull up
this
my
out.
rankings right now.
So where do you
I'm pulling up.
where do you have him finishing?
And Whisper Nation, by the way, I'm just sitting here to go
Yeah.
at it. I'm missing my
The popcorn. Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, you know what? You guys look at that.
I already
Whisper
made. Well, I
Nation.
need to make an
I'm
amendment
orange.
because I actually do have Larry Fitzgerald finishing over.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Let me find him. Actually,
Unreal, dude. Like we were just trying to tell you this.
no.
All right. Well, here's the
It's
deal.
close.
Whisper Nation, why don't you tell us what you think about
wide
Sterling
receiver
Sheppard?
20 is what I have him. Wide receiver 20.
Sterling
Yeah.
Sheppard.
Yep.
I'll tell you, he finishes lower than that.
That's your bet.
I will give me a wide receiver 24. Give me wide receiver 24 and above, so he'll be a wide receiver 2 or better, and I'll take that bet.
All right, you got it.
All
right.
I'm a witness too.
Whisper wager
So
right
let's-
there.
Whisper Nation, we want to hear from you what you think about the debate, this hot debate that's really just taking the fantasy industry by storm.
What else are we going to talk about when it comes to the Giants?
Yeah, of Sterling Sheppard and his ability to be a substantial wide receiver 2 in Johnny's mind, and in mine, I
Oklahoma
just
product, man. Oklahoma
yeah,
product.
of course. But anyways, Stepmom Lauren, we just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. Tell Whisper Nation where they can find you, what you've been working on, what's going on in your world.
Oh man, well, Travis Day. I wake up and praise the Lord.
Not that much.
I'm kidding. So you guys can all find me at Stepmom Lauren. So I'm facebook.com/Stepmom Lauren. I'm on Twitter at Stepmom Lauren, Instagram at Stepmom Lauren. I also just launched my website. So stepmomlauren.com is live. You guys can find all of my work there. I am a writer for the Fantasy Footballers. I have a new article coming out at the end of the month. It's going to be about Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs.
Ooh, that's gonna be
Maybe
a
we'll
great
get
one.
some insight on that.
Yeah,
I just
I can't
came out
wait
with a
for
piece
that.
about D.D. Westbrook, Keelan Cole, and everyone else who's
That
on the
was an
Jacks,
awesome
which
one as
I
well.
felt like Alice in Wonderland falling down the rabbit hole. It was crazy. But yeah, and I'll be around. I'm doing this and that. You can probably find me on a couple other podcasts too. Say hi, come tweet me.
Well, we
I'm a
love
nice
having
person
you on
usually.
here. Yeah.
Thank you for having me on. I've missed you guys. It's been
And we'll keep-
forever.
Yeah, we'll keep it up. I mean, we were in the lab. We were in a dark place crunching numbers there for a long time. But we're back now, and we love to have you back on the show. Whisper Nation, we love you. That's Johnny Game Time Hicks. I'm Big Travy. And for Stepmom Lauren, we are out of here. Peace.
Please like and subscribe to the
Bye.
show. Till next time.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Whisperers podcast. You can hear more from John and Travis on Google Play, SoundCloud, and iTunes. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TF Whisperers.